You know, some people are born like that, and you have to struggle all your life to transmute that. It's probably not a choice. It's probably either part of your soul or something you learned because your parents did that all the time. You know, I remember a woman saying that her labor felt like she was riding a horse with no saddle and no reins, and the horse was just galloping wildly, and all she had to do was to not fall. Mm-hmm. And that is a huge task. You know, when the horse is just galloping, you know, wildly through the mountains, and you know, your hair is flying and you're naked on top of this horse. You know, a man will hear that and it's like, oh, that sounds sexy. Okay, no. That is the wildest experience ever. You know, and another woman said that for her, she stopped being herself, she stopped having a body, and she became one with the stars of the universe. And the expansion she felt was so immense, there was no limit to it. That is what is being taken away by, you know, using an epidural or anesthesia or analgesia or any of that. You are not just taking pain away, you are taking these extremely profound experiences away. Of who we are so limited, so small, so few compared to who we profoundly and deeply are. So yes, giving birth is probably like being born and like dying. You know, those moments that are not only precious but not to be missed, you know, because we are in this life so full of challenges, so full of moments of decision that, you know, we need to take on fully, that we need to take on consciously. And when I say consciously, I don't just mean the mind. I mean, you know, with the heart, that we feel fully. And if women can learn simply the fact that birth is an opportunity, a catalyst, a moment in which we learn about our own selves, you know, what we actually came to the world to do. You know, which one of these reasons is to give birth to children. And when you were describing that moment, how you remember this man's face, she was actually with her crutch really close to mine, and I was holding her like that, and she was leaning on her friend, and just so desperate. And she screamed, "Naoli, ayúdame, you know, help me." You know, from the deep, deep, deep part of her soul, felt so alone. So, you know, I was thinking, okay, physically she is doing it. I mean, she is moving forward. Her labor is, she will give birth. But emotionally, she felt terrified. She felt so lonely. So I thought, okay, what do I do to help this woman? You know, not physically, but emotionally. So I closed my eyes and I had this image of the man kissing her. You know, not a simple kiss. You know, one of those juicy, delicious kisses that, you know, passionate kisses. And I thought, Naoli, you know, she worked so hard in her pregnancy to become more autonomous and to let him, you know, go and so on. You can't ask him to do that because, you know, it will mess up a lot of things in her again. So I close my eyes again. I think, okay, Naoli, try again. And then I get this other image, and this time it was Naoli kissing her, you know? Like, oh no, you know, a juicy kiss. I did see myself, you know, going like this and kissing her. I thought, try again, Naoli. So I close my eyes and then this new image comes, but guess what? Naoli kissing her again. And it's not like, you know, I do not have a crush on this woman. It was like a desperate moment for her. And I just took a deep breath and I said, this will require a lot of therapy postpartum. We can't afford it. And what did I do? I closed my eyes and I opened my mouth, but I didn't kiss her. I started singing. And I just started improvising, you know, just my voice just opened up and I started singing something just very melodic, very flowing, you know, something like la ya ya something like that. I just went on, started for a few minutes. I did that with my eyes closed, but then all of a sudden something happened which was quite amazing. That there was another voice joining mine, and it was not any of the ladies, it was the man. He started singing. He just found a way to join the energy of the birth through singing. He was a musician, and the whole place just quieted down, and we sang, and we just sang. And this woman stopped being desperate. She stopped even saying things. She just closed her eyes and she just kept breathing, and then soon enough she was pushing the baby, and soon enough the baby, you know, within 40 minutes the baby was born. And yes, her little daughters were, I think, 3 and 2, and they were the ones taking the video of the birth. And about a month later, I get a phone call of this woman saying, "Now Lily, you have to come over right away. I have to tell you something. I just saw the video of my birth." Like, of course, I love to hear, you know, the women's stories, their version of what the birth was. So I drive to her house, and she tells me, "Now, Lily, I had no idea that you sang. I didn't know what was going on. I just, by watching the video, I realized you started singing. But I have to tell you my story, because when I was giving birth, I was so desperate. I was at the bottom of the ocean. At the very bottom, when it's, you know, where it's dark and cold, and I was just waiting there to die by myself. And all of a sudden, as I watched the video, I realized that at the time that you started singing, what I went through was that I was at the bottom of the ocean, and from afar I started seeing these 2 dolphins swimming very harmoniously towards me, and they came to me and they started pushing me up, 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 up. And the water changed from dark, dark, deep, you know, blue, and it became more turquoise, and the light of the sun started going through the water. And as I started moving up, I started pushing, and then my baby was born. So I got the shivers, because I realized, my goodness, these 2 dolphins were the 2 voices. And that's what helped her. A very old lady recently, you know, the last few years, told me something very interesting. Perhaps you've heard it. She said, in life, everything has to do with who is in power and how much do you love me. And when I heard that, I thought, how could everything have to do with that? And I've been checking in once in a while, and it seems to be true. Like, how much power, who has the power, in what, and how, when, and why? And how much do you feel loved, and how much do you love? It seems like those 2 equilibriums, if they're out of equilibrium, we have trouble. But if they're in equilibrium, then things are good. It seems so easy, but it's very complex. And when I mean power, you know, it's got to do with sexual power, or economic power, or power of decisions, you know, decision making. How much, you know, what other powers? A lot of other powers. You know, who decides what car to buy? Who decides where to live? You know, all those things have to do with power. Do you know that still most of human beings in the world are born at home? Yes. But people forget that. People think that since we live in LA or New York City or Mexico City, oh, you know, the idea is to pay the most in the most expensive, you know, good hospital, and that's guaranteed that you'll have the best birth. And many, many, many years back, the very old doctors who started going to women's homes to attend their births, and then they thought they would improve upon that and maybe invent the forceps and invent these and those tools, you know, which are very male-oriented, you know, toys, you know, to improve upon nature. It's a very male thing. But still, the beginning of it was midwives caring for women, manipulating, helping, supporting, turning the baby, giving the woman maybe some porridge, some soup, some tea, some herb to help, you know, boiling water, and, you know, doing a lot of procedures that were helpful. So how can we marry ancient tradition with modern effective care for pregnant women and birthing women? How can we succeed in bridging the past with the present and the future as well? Because everybody's going so fast, everybody's looking always for how to improve, you know, and how can we hope to feel satisfied with the old ways and with, you know, slow pace and with things that require patience and perseverance if everybody's running to get the newest cell phone and the newest version of the computer and the newest this and the newest that. I think we need to question the care that old people get, you know, in modern cultures. Where do old people go? Where's the space for them in the family? Tends to have, you know, no space in the family. You know, people build, you know, homes for old people and they get, you know, put into a separate place because there's no space in this fast-paced life for old people who walk slowly and who, you know, who have to repeat the same sentence many times to be understood. It's a world for young, fast individuals who want to improve upon nature. So you can expand. You can expand and you can apply to modern life something that stems from old tradition because it is innocuous. It doesn't have side effects, not like secondary effects that can be harmful to baby or mother. You will not harm the placenta, you will not harm the baby, and you will be able to do those things I mentioned. Stimulate labor. You can help a baby descend into the pelvis. You can help a baby that is asynclitic but already engaged to disengage and have the opportunity to turn the head, or you can turn the head yourself. You can help a baby to turn from breech to vertex. You can stimulate sexual energy with a rebozo.
That was good.
If it's no wall, then you always need a person to hold her. But if there is a wall,
she would just lean on the wall.
She can lean on the wall or have someone just like to move around. To move around, that will probably feel pretty good for the baby. But it's just a simple rock. I haven't turned the baby yet. Once she's sort of relaxed and comfortable, then you will do all this. And maybe what we could do is have an assistant be behind her. Because then she can be helping me too. Sitting in this nice position for a while. It could be on the bowl. You can do this on a bowl, 2 bowls, or... Okay, can you like just drop farther your back?
Oh, wow!
Okay.
Oh, I'm doing some ab workout.
That is a good position, except that, you know what?
Really?
She may... Is that hurting you?
Me? What?
Acrohermoso.
Very subtle.
Four times. And every time I get 34, 34, 34, 34. These are not part of the physiology, but they're part of it.